Hello there. I hope your revision's going really well. I thought I'll do a collective video on what to do right before the exam. Roughly there's about 3 weeks left for the exam, and I get lots of questions about what is the right thing to do in this time, what to focus on, what to revise, and how to really divide the time in terms of looking up guidelines and practicing questions. And because I get asked this question a lot, I thought I'll do a video so that it can actually benefit all of you who are in a similar situation. Right, so you have about 3 weeks left for the exam, which is a lot of time. I do want to reassure you that 3 weeks is plenty of time. So stop panicking, calm yourself down, and slow down and focus, because that's what you need to do. There's plenty of time. You don't want to be wasting time thinking, oh my God, what if I fail? Oh my God, what's going to happen if a question comes in the exam that I don't know what to answer? All of those fears and worries are just distracting you from the real goal, which at the minute should be just to carry on revising. Now I know it's very difficult to do that, to keep your focus, but it's important that when you get thoughts like those, to remind yourself that you're doing everything you can in order to help pass the exam. You're doing lots of revision, you're doing lots of questions, and that's all you can do. That is all that is in your power. There's nothing more than this that you can do in order to improve your chances to pass the exam, except sit down and revise. So calm yourself down. 3 weeks is a lot of time, and you want to be using this time wisely and not wasting it panicking. So I hope you've taken some days off for this period of the exam, whether it means annual leave or study leave. So in the UK here, our candidates can take 5 days of study leave. That might be different in different trusts, so just check with your local unit. But basically, I hope you've had some time off in order to just focus on revision now. So you should not be doing any nights, any on calls, any long days. If you have got anything coming up, just try and swap with a colleague. Really beg them, really try hard to get out of those shifts, because the last thing you want is you have a complication at work, or something goes wrong at work, and then you are spending all this time that you should be revising thinking about what's going to happen next, or feeling really quite low in yourself because you've not been able to do very well at work. So it's important that you take some time off so you can focus, and in whatever way you can. It's important to sit down and just focus on revision now. So time off is the key in this period. So what is it exactly that you should be doing in this period? Now, do not stop doing questions. Keep going through questions. Even if you did 20 questions a day, just keep doing questions, because every time you do questions, it will stimulate your memory, so you will see what you've learned, whether you can put that in action. And secondly, if you do get something wrong, you will go back and look it up, and hopefully that way you're more likely to learn, and it's likely to stick in your memory than just reading something off the book or off your notes. Don't forget to do the Strategy, which is again a resource by MRCOG. They've got some helpful questions on there. They've also got modules, e-learning modules on different topics, so have a quick look through those as well. Now, the way I approached this time of the exam, right before my exam, was there's so many things that you can do. You can do the Green Top guidelines, the NICE guidelines, the FSRH guidelines. And when say you're doing the Green Top guidelines, you start worrying and thinking, oh, I've not looked up the NICE guidelines in a long time, so I should, I want to try and look up those as well. But what you're doing by thinking that way, what you're doing is you're just wasting time and not focusing on the task in hand. So divide your days. So I would say spend one whole day on green top guidelines. So I hope by now you've made some green top guideline revision notes, so you're not going through the entire 21 page or whatever guideline. You've really skimmed that down to half a page or a page at most, and you just have to now look through those. So spend one day on green top guidelines. Learn things that are within the guideline, any numbers, any categories, any classifications. Test yourself. So without looking at your notes, try and explain, for example, the different classifications of, first degree tear, second degree tear, 3A tear, 3B, 3C, fourth degree tear, how you would explain that. Because you know that you have learned well and you've understood well only when you're able to explain that to someone. So think about it, that somebody sat in front of you and you're trying to explain to them what is shoulder dystocia and how would you manage it. What is the management for PPH? What are the drugs and how do they work? Which receptors do they work on? What are the doses? So you want to try and say it out loud, and pretend that somebody's sitting in front of you who doesn't know and needs to know this information. So you're going through your notes, but you're trying to say it loud so that in order to build a memory that will then stick with you. So spend a whole day on green top guideline revision notes, then spend another day on just TOG articles. So again, I hope that you've had some revision notes by now made from TOG articles, your skimmed down version of notes, so that you're now spending just time looking through those revision notes and the facts and the tables, and you're just spending a whole day just on TOG articles, right from the morning to the night. All you need to do is just look through as many TOG articles, as many facts and figures and tables that you can, things that have come up in the past, exam questions, things that come up when you're doing questions, for example, any reference to a TOG article, for example, different rashes in pregnancy. You just want to keep going back to it and just spend a whole day on TOG articles. The same way you want to spend a whole day on NICE guidelines. So again, you would have some revision notes made from these guidelines. Sit down, just spend a whole day, look through the stuff that you need to in order to just focus yourself on NICE. And then one day you want to spend on the FSRH guidelines and the BGCS guidelines for the different gynecological cancers. So you know your staging, you know how to describe what stage A, stage 1, stage 2, 3, 4 for different types of cancer. You want to also, look up different, just how to manage the different stages of cancer as well. So by doing that, and then also you want to include in that the BASH guidelines as well. So focus your revision now based on a type of a guideline at a time. So you're not then thinking that you're missing out on anything, and you've covered everything. So Strategy, the green tops, the NICE guidelines, the TOG articles, the FSRH, the BGCS guidelines, and then your BASH guidelines. That's hopefully everything covered for you. And then obviously all throughout these days, you also want to be just doing lots and lots and lots of questions, but keep your focus. If you feel like you are losing the focus, you want to do things to come back to try and focus. So go through things that you know. Now, one helpful tip that I always find, especially just before you're about to sleep, just go through your revision notes. Just try and recall things from your revision notes, numbers, percentages, and if you don't remember anything, have a quick look. That way you're more likely to remember it than just by reading it. So try and recall things in your memory again and over and over and over and over again. That's what you want to be doing in these final days to the exam. So hopefully by this point you are doing lots and lots of revision notes. So you are then going through your notes, so you're not having to spend time again back on the internet, loading up guidelines and having to read through all the you know the 20 pages of the guideline in order to extract what you need to know. So that's not what you should be doing by now. You should have your own notes where you should have had all the information extracted, and all you have to do now is just try and put all of this in your memory. Now, it's very important to take regular breaks. It's this time of before the exam, you will feel a lot more anxious, very panicked. You'll get thoughts of failing the exam, thoughts that you've not done enough. Those thoughts, let me reassure you, are very, very normal. Now, take regular breaks, whether that means for lunch, for dinner, for snacks. What that does is just takes you away from your stresses for a little while, and then you come back to it. So it's like a way to distract yourself, but a healthier way to distract yourself. So take regular breaks of water, for for making sure you're eating well, so that when you come back to your revision, then at least you can focus very well. Hydration. Now, I could not emphasize on what important role hydration and nutrition play in your revision period. So it's so important to have a good night's sleep, be hydrated, eat well, eat fruits and vegetables. Don't eat foods that are fatty and are going to make you feel quite bloated and heavy and awful. You don't want to be eating foods like those. You want to be eating foods that'll give you energy, nuts, those kind of things that will just keep you going for the exam, so that you optimizing your sleep, your energy levels, and then that will then help you maintain the focus that's required in this last period before the exam. Can't emphasize how important going out for a walk is in this period. Even if you went for like a 20-minute, 30-minute walk, but try and find some time out for it. It changes your perspective. It de-stresses you. It just lowers your heart rate. Just helps you manage the symptoms of anxiety and the fidget, the being fidgety right before the exam, and losing focus over and over again. So it'll just help you manage those symptoms much better by using your energy in a more productive manner, which is going for a walk. Try and do things that will de-stress you. For example, watch a movie, just to completely take away your mind off revision. So if you've done a full day of revision and you've covered what you needed to cover, don't try and overdo it. Spend that last bit of time watching a movie, trying to de-stress, talk to a friend, that kind of thing, so that go out for dinner, a meal, so that you are actually engaging in life as well. So you're not losing your mind completely by burying yourself in the books and your revision notes. Well, I hope this was useful for you, and good luck for your exams. It's quite a difficult and a tough period right now, but it'll pass before you know it. And you all have worked really, really hard for this exam, so all you now need to do is just focus. And that's the most difficult thing to do in this period, which is why I hope I've given you some helpful tips and tricks in order to try and maintain as much focus and productivity as possible, because that's exactly what you need. Don't waste your time. Don't listen to anyone who says, oh, you're not done enough, or you're not likely to pass the exam, and oh, it's okay, I failed my exam the first time as well. Don't listen to those people, because you don't need that kind of negative energy at this point. You need to be using every cell of your body and every every minute of the day to try and focus and revise. Good luck. If there's anything I can help with, do leave me a comment down below. And if you like this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.